The Chet Holmgren disrespect is getting insane, as it's kind of unwarranted with these recent rankings of the top 30 centers on HoopsHype, which already has me a little speculative since it is on HoopsHype. How, reliable is that of a source when they're ranking these top players? And when I looked at their list, I can understand, okay, he's only played one season so far, so we're not going to put him too high up on the list. I can understand that. But when you look at the people that are ahead of him, that's where it gets me going. I'm like, now this list doesn't make sense at all. I don't understand why he's getting this level of disrespect, saying that Alperen Sengun, of all players, is better than Chet Holmgren. Rudy Gobert is ranked as the 7th best center in the NBA. He's above Chet Holmgren, which I don't even know if he's better than Isaiah Hartenstein at this point in his career. Everyone's going based off of, oh, look at what they've done before. Look at their age, their experience, blah, 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 blah. But then you have Victor Wembanyama as the 4th best center in the league. So it's just disrespect. It's just hate on Chet Holmgren. I don't think they're trying to make it seem like hate, but that's what it is when you're like, okay, he's ranked as the 9th best center in the NBA, which is great for someone going into their second season, but he played better than some of the centers that are ranked above him right now. We're going to break that down here on Thunder Digest today, along with Isaiah Hartenstein's ranking, where I think he should have been at, if it was the right spot. Before we get all that, though, I want to take a moment to recognize that still less than 10% of you guys have hit that bell notification. Trying to get that around 15%, right in that happy medium there between 10 and 20, 15. 20 I want, but 15 realistically, I would love that from y'all. So if you guys don't want to miss a single minute of the action here on Thunder Digest, go ahead, hit that bell notification down low. If you aren't subscribed yet, why not? All right, this is the best place to get your Thunder news at. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. With that out of the way, we can go ahead, get into the content at hand today, talking about Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein as their rankings. I already told you about Chet, Isaiah Hartenstein as well. Their rankings, I kind of get. All right, Chet at 9. I can see it, understandably. Personally, I think he's at around 6, maybe even 5. It might be a little crazy to say he's a top 5 center right now. I'll go ahead and admit that. That might be a crazy thing to say, but I think he's 6 or 7 for sure. All right, borderline top 10 though at 9. He's not a borderline top 10 center. All right, he's around 6 or 5. 7 as well. 7 I would have been fine with. Put him in Gobert's spot. It's just the fact that Gobert and Sengun are above him. Domantas Sabonis is ranked as, I think, the 5th best center on this list. And I'm not high on Sabonis. He is a great passer at the center position. He does that very well. He has no defensive game. It feels like when people were making this list, they like to pay attention to the offensive game a ton for some centers. And then we're like, okay, but look at Rudy Gobert. He's a great defensive center, so we got to put him up there because he's really one of the only centers that plays defense, blah, blah, blah. I think he's the most overrated defender to ever exist in the NBA. I just don't see him that good as a defender. And then Isaiah Hartenstein, where he's at as well, 18, which honestly, I think that's fine for him. I think that's fine. In my opinion, he was anywhere from 20 to 15, so falling right in between there in the middle. That makes perfect sense for me. At 18, I think that is the perfect spot for Isaiah Hartenstein. I kind of expect them maybe even have him below 20, but 18, personally, I think that is the perfect spot. Brook Lopez is right behind him. Then you have some other guys ahead of him. Now I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But looking at the list, and also other lists, this is why I'm not too high on HoopsHype right now when they're doing these player rankings, because I feel like they just do it based off the name or whoever they have an agenda for, which in this case, I've read HoopsHype a little bit. They have an agenda for Domantas Sabonis. They definitely do. So that's probably why he's up there on that list ahead of some other players in the NBA and why they have him as a top 5 center in the league when personally I think him and Chet are around there where they're fighting for that top 5 spot. Biasy, of course, I'm going to go with Chet, but I do see the reason for Sabonis. I do. Want to get that out of the way. I definitely see why people would put Sabonis over Chet. It's just Sengun and Gobert. Are you kidding me? Rudy Gobert, who has no offensive game. He has been getting worse and worse and worse at defense each and every single year he's been in the league is what it seems like. He's just not a good player anymore. He's not. He's a role player at best. But you have him as a better center than Chet Holmgren, who's a star in this league, who's going to be an all-star next season and potentially be an all-NBA or all-defensive player and all-NBA third-team player. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, along with Sengun. Yeah, he's going to fight for an all-star spot. Sengun will. I won't deny that for him. He's not going to be an all-NBA caliber player, though, like Chet can be, or an all-defensive caliber player like Chet. That's where I'm like, you have to look at what he did in his rookie season compared to other players. It's absurd to me, this disrespect he's getting. And it kind of shows in the description that they gave for their reasoning for why Chet is at where he's at. And this is what they had to say about Chet Holmgren, the second-place finisher in Rookie of the Year voting in 2023-2024. The Oklahoma City Thunder's Chet Holmgren had a great inaugural campaign in the association, flashing immense skills on both ends of the floor, primarily as a face-up scorer with driving ability, but also as an elite shot blocker, one who ranked in the top 5 in nightly rejections last season. Holmgren's narrow shoulders and lack of strength could be a hindrance as far as projecting his overall ceiling, but he does seem like a player who could be an all-star one day. That is crazy that you think that he could be an all-star one day, and that's about it that you're saying with him. Saying that, oh, his size, his weight is a hindrance to his ability to play basketball. Keep the same energy up with other players that don't have the frame that usual centers do. This example, Victor Wembanyama. He's ranked 4th personally. I put him as the 3rd best center in the NBA, right above Anthony Davis. But it's crazy that now all of a sudden for Chet Holmgren, being a little lanky and not being as strong of a center as some other players are, not your traditional, big body center who doesn't really handle the ball all that much. That's now a problem with Chet, but Victor Wembanyama, they praise him for that. He's a unicorn. He's breaking the game. You know who did that before everyone else? Kristaps Porzingis, and he's ranked at 10. So it's just this fact that they're pushing this narrow body, he's weak agenda. That's why they don't have him ranked higher. Makes no sense. But it's just the fact they said he could be an all-star one day. We don't know. We just like to see what his year 1 to year 2 jump looks like before making any bold proclamations about him. Overall, Holmgren, who's basically a wing who plays center. That is crazy. A wing who plays center, 7'1". Just this whole kind of description has me in like a pretzel knot twits where I'm like, none of this makes sense. You keep contradicting some things that you said as a positive Chet, saying that now they're a negative. Does have plenty of upside, and we're excited to see what he looks like in his sophomore season, especially on the offensive end of the floor if his three-point shooting takes a leap. He's a, 38% three-point shooter last season? It looks like they did. I'm just at a loss of words. Frankly, I'm just at a loss of words for how they're describing Chet Holmgren. It's just they keep on backpedaling and saying, he does. Example, they said he was a great defensive player down low in the paint. And then all of a sudden they say, but he's a wing who plays center. He should be a wing. No, he should not. He should be a 4 or 5. That's what he should be. Okay, being honest, that's Chet Holmgren's position. He's a center. He might play the 4 this season if Isaiah Hartenstein is in that starting lineup. It's the fact that they think that he isn't a center, but yet acknowledge that he's a great defender and rim protector. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And it's not like he doesn't have a post game. He has a post game. He has every part of his game he does well at. He's a good player at every facet of the game. So it just looks like it's unwarranted hate, unwarranted disrespect. I don't understand. I don't. It makes no sense to me how they describe Chet Holmgren. Now with Isaiah Hartenstein, see what they had to say about Hartenstein, his reasoning at 18. Although his raw scoring and rebounding numbers might not reflect it, new Oklahoma City Thunder player Isaiah Hartenstein had a great 2023-2024 season, consistently making winning plays for New York to the point he made his team an almost preposterous 11 points per 100 possessions better during his time on the floor. Hartenstein can do a bit of everything besides score at a high level as his rebound, boxes out, does the dirty work, sets hard screens, moves the ball well, and even racks up steals and blocks, making it clear why the Thunder were interested enough in him to sign him to a contract worth nearly $90 million this offseason, despite his averaging under 8 points last season. His low usage style will fit in perfectly with what the Thunder were lacking last season, as the team appeared one starter-level center away from making a deeper playoff run. Hartenstein should adapt wonderfully to the project Oklahoma City has going on, finishing plays set up by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and helping Chet Holmgren, who's a bit lacking in the strength department. Once again, saying he's weak, but if you watch Oklahoma City Thunder games, you notice that sometimes he bodies down low with some bigger guys as well. Man the front court a bit more physically. So this description of Isaiah Hartenstein, it makes sense. because you can tell they watched New York games. You can clearly tell they didn't watch Oklahoma City games because you see they used a key phrase there. He makes the winning plays. He makes the winning plays. The reason they know that is because they're a large market team, so they are able to watch New York Knicks games a little bit more and actually saw what Hartenstein does on the floor besides just his stat line. You need to actually watch the game before you can perfectly evaluate how a player is and how good they actually are. And they clearly didn't watch a ton of Oklahoma City Thunder games besides the playoffs, it seems like. Because if you watch in the regular season, you can tell Chet Holmgren was one of the best centers in the NBA last season. Rim protection and offensively. You look at his three-point shot, his passing ability, his rebounding, his rim protecting. He's even decent out on the perimeter if he has to defend someone because he moves around like Kevin Durant does as well. So it's just disrespect because they don't actually watch the Thunder play. That's why he's ranked so low. It's clear as day when you're looking at descriptions for every single player. They just never really watched Thunder games, so they didn't really even know how good Chet Holmgren was. They just looked at the stats and they're like, oh yeah, we'll put him at 9. That's why I think they have him so low, and it's disrespectful. Don't judge a player because you don't want to watch them. Oh, Oklahoma City, they're not going to be that good this coming season. Oh, they did decently. Well, they didn't have a lot of, prime time games, so we're not going to watch them and actually see how they do. Watch the clips. Watch the tape. You do this with all the other players. Keep it up with Chet. That's all I got to, kind of say for this just blasphemous ranking for Chet Holmgren, who players that are above him. Sengun and Gobert, are you kidding me? He is leagues better than Sengun and Gobert. Leagues better. That's all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys personally think in the comment section below. Do you think 9 is actually a perfect spot for him? I get why they would put him there because it was only his first season. I do. Let me know where you guys personally would have put Chet Holmgren, and if you guys also think he's better than Sengun and Gobert. That's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next video.